Welcome to Live in the D Plus, everybody. Well, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. You can catch us here every single Tuesday at 2:30. We love hanging out with you guys. Now, this is the place where Kim and I get to come and kind of expound on topics from the show, introduce you to other interesting people in our community who are doing great things.
Yeah, we get to talk in depth.
That's
no
right.
time limit. Just a little bit of time limit,
bit.
but much longer. Well, guys, he has been a familiar voice on Detroit radio for decades, shaping conversations, culture, and the soundtracks of our lives.
That's right. And today, longtime radio personality Gerald McBride is turning the mic inward with a brand new book reflecting on his career, his impact, and the legacy he's built along the way. We are so excited to welcome Gerald McBride to the show.
Thank you so much. And you guys make me sound so good.
I mean,
and we'll just end the interview there. No. It's so great to meet you.
Man, thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
it is our pleasure
Yeah.
that you are a legend. You've been on the radio for years.
Yes.
People feel like they know you. So
Yeah.
take us back to the beginning. You know, what was your first job in radio? And what do you remember most about those early days behind the mic?
You know, I really have to go back to my mom, who just played the radio all the time in the house, and we had WJOB and WCHB on, and you know, back then, you guys are probably too young to remember the Hot Five. You know, that had the radio. You guys are looking at me like, what is
It's all
that?
good.
We're following along.
But no, she kept that thing on, and it just blasted the radio all the time. And I just wanted to be on the radio. I mean, listening to people like Al Perkins and
Yeah.
Donnie Simpson. And so in high school, I became a high school reporter. They called it a Soul Team reporter for Mumford High School. So I got a chance to do a report about Mumford once a week. And then after hearing myself on the radio, I was like, oh, this is it. I got to do this. And it was headed by Donnie Simpson. And Donnie used to record us, and I got a chance to sit in the studio with Donnie, and I just got bit by that radio bug. And after that, I graduated from Speck Howard School of Broadcasting, and I get my first job in Flint, Michigan. But I got to tell you a little story about my first job. Now.
Okay, go ahead.
So, after graduating from Specs, you send out the resumes, you send out the tapes, and it took me a long time to finally get the job. And I was like, wow, this is it. I got a part-time shift from 3 to 6 in Flint, Michigan on WAMM, and the program director wanted me to come to do an orientation for a week, because back then in the 70s, you had all of these knobs, you had turntables, you had cart machines, and you had all of this equipment and, format and things that you needed to know how to do. So I spent a week doing that before my Saturday shift. So when I get up there to Flint and I'm in the studio, I'll never forget the radio, the DJ that was on before me. He says, okay, up next is Gerald McBride. I was like, oh no, this is it. This is it. Here I go.
The nerves kicked
The nerves,
in.
right. You guys can probably relate to that, right? Your
We've
first
got
time on
been
TV.
there. First market.
Yeah, right. So anyway, I sit down and I'm looking at all of these knobs, and they start to look all the same. I couldn't remember what was what. But anyway, I queued up my record, and back then the turntables were kind of like way in the back, so you had to reach back to grab to start the turntable to start the record. So 3 o'clock is coming up, and I got to do my station ID, and I go to hit the record to start it, and I knock the arm off the record, and it goes scree over the air, and the program director runs in and says, "Get out of here! You're fired!"
Oh, no.
Yes. So before I could say my first words on the radio,
You were fired.
I was fired. Yes.
For real? They didn't let you
For
back?
real.
That's
for real.
that's
Well,
a little extreme.
I had a friend that worked there, and 3 months later, he talked the program director into giving me another chance, and I went back, and the second time I nailed it.
Oh, wow.
And 45 years later, here I am, still on the air.
So what made you not give up after that point? Because some people would have been like, you know what, forget this radio
That was my
thing.
calling. Yeah.
No, it was like I had a chance. Well, I knew I would get another chance. Maybe not at that station, but I was fortunate enough that I had a friend there that talked somebody into giving me another shot.
Aw.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, I can't blow it this time. So
That is a hilarious story. I'm so happy this is what we get into.
I know, you
Yeah,
would never
yeah.
get into that. What's
So-
up with
Yeah.
all this talent out of Mumford High School? I just have to touch on
Carmen
that.
Harlan.
come
I
on.
know.
Come
Eddie
on.
Murphy?
The wine is, well, not really.
No,
Eddie Murphy.
but on the show,
Yeah,
on
yeah,
Beverly
right.
on Beverly
I was like, I didn't know that.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Someone was connected connected to Mumford who put him in that T-shirt. That's what it was.
Jerry
Right.
Buckheimer, who produced Beverly Hills Cop.
What's up with the
right.
talent coming out of there?
I know. Sam Bernstein. Oh, come on. Let's go. The Winans. Fred Hammond.
I love me some Fred Hammond.
Allie Willis.
can go
the list
on
just
and
goes on and on and on.
I want to go to the high school reunion.
I know,
I
right?
know,
Go, no.
I know. Just an awesome school.
Aw.
Yes,
Well, okay. I love your first story. You mentioned that your mom was always playing the radio,
Yeah.
so that was
Yeah.
kind of in your mind,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But people must have come up to you all throughout your childhood and said, "You have a voice for radio."
Well, not in my childhood.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm listening to it right now, and it's like,
I know.
okay,
I'm like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I've always got that compliment about my voice, and I knew it was something special. As a matter of fact, not just being on the radio, I had the opportunity to do a lot of voiceovers. Matter of fact, so much so, I started a company, and we still do concert commercials for a lot of different artists. So from Kevin Hart to Chris Tucker to Earth, Wind and Fire, the Isley Brothers, Gladys Knight, Frankie Beverly and Mays, Prince. We were the voice of Prince's tour as well.
Wow.
Yes.
now that's the dream.
Wow.
You don't have to do
It really
hair,
is.
no makeup. I know. You just go in there and talk.
In sweats and sneakers. It really is.
Well, it's not exactly that because it was more like a radio production. So
Okay.
not only did I do the voiceovers, but it's about being able to put the right music to it,
Yeah.
and the right inflection and sound effects and everything to make you've heard concert spots before.
Yeah.
Coming live to the Fox Theater. Get tickets at Ticketmaster in the box office or charge by phone. A lot of that, with the music under you.
Wow. Did we record that? No.
Yeah. It's crazy because the DJ, is also like a pillar in that 5 pillars of hip hop kind of thing. And but we've been talking about this a lot because Kim did a story with the DJ for the Pistons, and we've just been talking about DJs in general, how they set the tone for everything, for a wedding, a reunion, a sports show.
Exactly. I was like
Absolutely.
so amazed by the fact that when the game is going on, he has to pick,
Oh, yeah.
are we down, are we up kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And I was just thinking about it. Like I went to a wedding once
Yeah.
where, budget was a thing,
Yeah.
but they just had an iPad.
Oh,
iPod.
girl, it's
Oh,
not the
yeah,
same
that's
thing.
really
Yeah,
changed.
so you can't read the room like
No,
that.
it's not the same
I
thing.
actually started in a nightclub that my brother owned. So my brother owned, when I graduated out of high school, he opens up this nightclub in Detroit, very popular nightclub. And I thought, okay, when you open this club, I know I'm going to be the DJ. I've been wanting to be on the radio, and I want to be a DJ. He gets me a job as a dishwasher.
Hilarious.
Yeah, so
Just like a sibling to get you some
exactly.
crazy
Older
job
brother's
that
like,
you were
no,
not looking
no,
for.
you're not ready for that.
That is
And so
funny.
I washed dishes, and what I would do in the daytime, I would sneak and get on the turntables in what they called back then the discotheque, and I would pretend there were a bunch of people in, and my brother would come in and say, "Get off of those turntables. That is not your job. Get back in the kitchen and wash those dishes." So this went on for months, and then one night, his disc jockey did not show up, and he's got a crowd full of people, just a room full of people, and he comes back in the kitchen and says, "Can you be my DJ tonight?" And that's how I got my first job spinning records.
Look at everything lining up for you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That was kind of a
Dishwasher
Cinderella
to
story,
DJ.
right?
That is exactly what I was thinking. No, dishwasher to DJ. And I mean, and in that moment, you had to show and prove. That was your chance right there.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I love how you've always known, apparently, that you got to get your foot in the door. Maybe it's not
Absolutely.
exactly what you want to do in that moment.
Absolutely. That's so true.
Yeah.
But no, I've had so many other jobs, and I knew that I always wanted to be on the radio, and that's just always just been in me. It's just something. I actually grew up in a house of musicians. My brother was a bass player. Also had brothers who were singers, and so it was always music going on. And I just knew I was going to be involved with music in one way or another. And I just didn't have the discipline to pick up an instrument and just, you know how that takes some. You guys play any instruments?
No, and we
Absolutely
always
not.
talk about
Okay,
how
well,
Yeah.
that takes some discipline. You got to practice, and I just wasn't willing to do that. I was like, here's an easy shortcut. All I got to do is just play some records.
right. But you are a musician, and like the same way
Absolutely.
a DJ controls the crowd at a club or at a
Absolutely.
wedding or at a
Yeah.
sports game, you're kind of setting the tone for the culture. You know,
Oh.
when people turn you on at 3 o'clock or 5 o'clock or whenever they know
Absolutely.
your show is coming on, then they're looking for your voice. What does that mean to you?
Oh, that just means a lot. The show that I do now is the all oldies show, and it's just a wonderful thing knowing that people anticipate, you being on and making an appointment to listen to you.
Yeah.
And the music that I'm playing is some of the songs are 50 years old, but they still sound just as good as they did when they were made. And I mean, like the Isley Brothers. You guys familiar with the Isley Brothers?
Of
For the Love of You?
course.
Yeah.
For the Love of You. Heat Wave, Always and Forever. There's just no expiration date on these songs. They just always sound good.
Well, I
and
was
I could
gonna-
just keep going on and on about
I was going to
songs.
ask you, when you say oldies, at this point, it's a wide range. Like, what era are we talking? Here?
My show is really about music from the 70s, 80s, and maybe a little 90s where we kind of cut it off. And then we do this special thing on our show called the Battle of the Old School every night. So each week we have a different artist against another artist or another group against another group. So it'll be Michael Jackson against Prince. Like who
Rick
would you vote
James
for?
versus George Clinton.
We just did.
I
Rick
saw
James.
that on your Instagram. Yeah.
we did. Yeah, and Rick James won. Can you believe
Did
that?
he?
Yeah.
I'm surprised to hear that.
But who would you vote for between Michael Jackson and Prince?
I don't. Well,
That's
I
tough.
would say Michael Jackson, but isn't that like not politically correct anymore?
No, I would say Prince. I
You
would
go
probably
with
say
Prince, right?
Prince.
Yeah.
Man in the Mirror for me.
Okay.
Yeah, Man in the Mirror.
I'm talking about the man in the mirror.
No, I did. I checked out your Instagram and I love the head-to-heads that you have
Yeah,
going on because
yeah.
kind of like the verses. There's something
Yeah.
about it that people like to
Yeah.
kind of see two
Yeah.
similar kind of artists in the same genre going at it with each
Absolutely.
other. And again, the DJ setting the tone for that. But you took
Yeah.
all of that experience,
Yes.
everything that you've been through, and now
That is.
A book. And
Mm-hmm.
what's really interesting about the book is that, people hear us on the radio, they think our lives are great. They don't really know what's going on behind the scene, you know what I mean? And, we're like, hey, get up, it's going to be a great day. And, sometimes our lives are a wreck.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, and I just wanted to just really be a little transparent in this book about some of the things that I've gone through, some of the mistakes that I've made, but some of the victories that I've had as well. So it hasn't been easy, but it's been a great career. But yeah, I decided to be a little transparent. So when you guys read the book, don't judge me, okay? On
we won't
some
judge you.
some of the
Are you
stories.
spilling some tea? Are you telling on yourself a little bit?
A little bit, because
Okay.
the career started off, really shaky. So, I finally get on the air in Flint, and I'm making $141 every 2 weeks, which was it was really really tough, and my car gets repossessed. The next job I get, I fall asleep on the air. My first major market. So yeah.
What market was that?
This is Detroit.
Oh, that was in
This
Detroit?
is Detroit. I was on a station called WLBS.
Well,
and
what
this is back in
time?
the-
What time were you airing?
Okay, so I did the overnight shift, right? And
Totally
and I
fine.
look-
You
You're
get a
good.
pass. You
This
should get
comes
a.
from a
Well, no,
woman who
wait a
used to
minute.
get up
Wait
at
a
what
minute.
time?
I
What
don't-
time did you
I
used to
don't
wake
know.
up in the
Let me
morning?
tell you what
3.
happened.
3. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so
So
you've
she's got a
fallen
lot of
asleep
grace
a
for
couple
you.
of times.
Not
Yeah.
on air,
Okay, not on air.
but,
right.
You know,
Wait a minute.
driving to location.
Oh,
Not me driving.
Yeah, got you. Yeah, that was called a nap. Okay,
Exactly.
yeah, right.
Yes.
But no, so it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I had been working from 12 to 6. I did the 12 to 6 a.m. shift. And I'm tired. It's like I had never done overnights before. So just getting used to being up all night. But anyway, I put on an 8-minute record. And I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I have an 8-minute record. I'm going to put my head down for 5 minutes. So that was the first mistake, right? So anyway, I put my head down. When I woke up, it was an hour and a half later. It was 5:45 in the morning. So now back then, when you had a record playing, it would fade to the end. So you would hear shh, 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 shh. Right. So people knew something was wrong. When I woke up, the police were at the door. The request line was lit up, and I was answering the phone to people. Hey, stupid, what happened? You fell asleep. General manager was calling me on what they call the radio station hotline, and I lost my job again, from falling.
You have
asleep.
so many stories.
This is great. I was sitting there like an hour and a half.
Yeah, hour and a half. Yeah.
Poor thing, you just needed a
that was
little
more than a nap.
coffee.
Yeah,
A little power
I
nap.
was pouring coffee down, but nothing was helping.
Overnights are
Yeah.
brutal.
And you're by
Let's
yourself?
Be clear.
I'm by myself.
That's the
Overnight.
hardest
Someone
part
would have
right
waken-
there.
Yeah,
Yes,
someone would have
yes.
given you a little
Yeah.
nudge and got
Yeah.
you up, but it's rough.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually, the guy who came on after me, who does the morning show, is the one who woke me up.
Listen, life
So-
He should have
lesson.
tried to cover for you.
Yeah.
He's like, this is the cool thing. We play tracks to the end.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
exactly.
There was no excuse. There was no excuse for what happened.
That is so funny. Well, I really appreciate your vulnerability
Yeah.
to not only come out here and talk about these stories, but to write them in this book. By the way, the name of the book, God and the DJ.
Yes.
So what really inspired you? Is it because you couldn't really open up about these stories on air?
You know what really happened is a cousin of mine called me and she wanted me to jot down a couple of paragraphs about my life. Not just me, but she was asking a few people in the family to do that, and which is a great idea, because there's a lot of things that I don't know about my mother and father. I wish they would have, maybe just jotted down a few things that would have been documented. But she wanted all of us to do this so we could just pass it on from generation to generation, so they'll know, who their their relatives are, and some of the things that we did, and who we were. And so I started writing. And then I started writing. I was like, okay, wait a minute, I got to tell this story and that story. And then I reached out to a publishing company. They thought, hey, we think you have a good idea for a book. People are going to really enjoy your book. And here we are.
There you go.
2.5 years later, here we are. We
We've
got
got
it
the
in
book.
DJ.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah.
Live in the D Plus will be right back, and we're going to have more conversation with Mr.
Great.
McBride.
Awesome.
Good stories coming up. We already had
I
two
know.
good ones that I really enjoyed.
Welcome back to Live in the D Plus, everyone. We are still hanging out with Mr. Gerald McBride, and we are talking about his book, God and the DJ, and we're getting so many good stories from his career.
Yes.
So
And
juicy.
they're very
if
juicy.
just this
There's
little
a lot of
sample
funny
is anything
stories.
like the book is, then that's
Yeah.
going to be an easy read.
I know, we'll read in one weekend,
Yeah.
seriously. So
Yeah.
you've told us some of the juicy stories, and,
Yeah.
and I think it's important, like Kim said, to be vulnerable and share the downside of some things and some mistakes that we've made. But I know a lot of good things have happened in your career as well.
A lot of good things. But I do have to tell you one more
Okay,
story.
one more juicy
Please.
story.
I did get a shot at coming back to WLBS, and they hired me again, and continued to
After
do
the nap?
After the nap.
Okay.
After the nap, they did.
You know
give me
what?
I just
They
wanted
missed
to clear
you
the-
because the ratings fell, probably. And then they were like, bring them back.
No, Kim, that wasn't. So I'm on the air, and this is overnights. And then one night, I get a call from a friend of mine who's
Okay.
a very good friend now, Electrifying Mojo. And he calls me up. And I was a big fan of his, just, as I was making my way through radio. But Mojo calls me one night, and he's on the air at the same time on the competitive station. When he calls, I'm so excited. I'm like, Mojo, man, I've been listening to you all my life, man. You're like my hero. I didn't realize Mojo had me on the air on his station. Right?
Oh my goodness.
Yes. He's actually broadcasting the call on WGPR
They have to
while
tell
I'm on
you
the
this.
and he did not tell me that. We laugh about it now,
my.
but man, my boss was so upset. How could you do something like that? Didn't you know you were on the air? I'm like, no, he didn't tell me.
No.
You would have played it off
But
if you knew you were on the air.
Mojo, if you're watching, man, we're still cool, man. I just had to tell that story in the book, but we laugh about it all the time
That
now.
that's funny
But no.
now. I don't think it was necessarily funny then.
You didn't get fired, right?
No, I
Again.
didn't.
Just a
No,
little-
they let me keep my
Just a
job.
talking to maybe.
That's because they knew that you boosted the ratings. I know. I'm sticking
but,
with it.
But then we also made a bet at the radio station that that I wouldn't jump out of an airplane to go parachuting, and so we all get together, a few staff members, and we go to Marine City to go skydiving. Or, excuse me, it wasn't skydiving; it's parachuting. There's a
Okay.
difference. So anyway, the only problem was this was my first time in an airplane.
Wow.
So-
that was very ambitious. That was very
Well, I'm
ambitious.
You didn't wanna
22. I'm
lose
like,
that bet.
Right. So I didn't want to lose that bet. Right. So
Well, we would lose any bet
Yeah.
where someone told us to jump out of a plane.
No, I'll do it.
You will?
Yeah.
You will?
You have kids.
Uh-oh.
What are you talking about?
There's a
She's a whole
parachute.
mama with
Yeah,
two kids. I don't know. You know me. I'm very
we're bringing the
risk
kids
averse.
with. No, I'm kidding.
That's funny. That's funny. But we go through, the lesson, take you through the preparation lessons and, the equipment on the parachutes and how to land
And you
and,
just
and
went
all of
with
these
it.
things. And I get up in the plane. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. I've never been in an airplane. This is nice. And all of a sudden they open up the door and said, okay,
Now
it's
time
time
to
to get
jump.
out.
First time in a plane.
And I think when I got out on the ledge, I don't think I jumped. I think I just let go. And of course, they pull the ripcord for you.
Wow.
And but I think I fainted for a minute. And but I woke up. I heard a little voice on the radio, the remote control radio, saying, "Okay, McBride, pull your right toggle." I was like, "Oh yeah, toggle." So now pull your left toggle. But after a minute, I was like, "This is beautiful." I mean, after the initial shock of jumping out of that airplane, I thought this was really beautiful. But what I do mention in the book is that I believe that's how it is with God. Sometimes, we have these challenges in life where we have to jump, we have to take a chance on something, but knowing that He's got you and He's going to help guide you to where you need to go.
I was going to ask you, was that a metaphor for your life, that
Yes.
experience?
Yes, because I've had to jump plenty of times.
Right.
Yes.
What's your
absolutely.
advice for someone who might have to jump?
Well, I think you just have to believe. You just have to believe. You just have to have faith and believe that this is something that you're supposed to do. And we all are faced with challenges in life, But I think that's where God comes in. We have to trust Him. Yes.
And that's where you got your faith is in God, and that's what gave you the
Absolutely.
courage to keep going
Absolutely.
and to jump and
Absolutely.
keep. Because here's the
I'm
thing,
still jumping to this day.
I was just gonna say, I don't feel like the jumping stops.
It never stops. It
This is
never
a jump,
stops.
writing a book like this.
Writing a book.
Yeah.
Writing a book is a jump. And then also, I have a movie that I produced, and that was a jump. And just kind of taking a chance that this was going to work, that I could do it. I mean, I had no idea. I've produced a lot of radio and TV commercials, but producing a movie was a whole nother level. But
Another
I took
jump.
another jump.
Tell
So
us about
what's
the movie.
next?
The movie is called The Rhythm, and it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
And it's also on Google Play, and it's on Roku and a few other platforms. But Amazon Prime. But it's a story of a young black hockey player who deals with racism, and he gets into a serious brawl on the ice, and he almost murders a guy, and they send him to jail for several years. And when he gets out, he has to do this community service, so they send him to a hockey rink, kind of an abandoned hockey rink in the inner city of Detroit. And he has to gather these young kids, young black kids, and teach them how to play hockey. So of course, it's a game that they're not really familiar with, but they turn out to be a championship team.
This sounds like a true story. Is it based on anything that's ever happened?
And you know what happened? I get the idea after going to a hockey game at University of Michigan, and I look around and I'm the only African American at a 10,000 seat arena, and I thought, well, where are all the African Americans in this sport? But I really believe God gave me the idea for that movie right then, and I just started writing and writing and writing, and this would go on for 10 years. And 15 years later, I actually get the movie done.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. You've done so much in your career. What are you so most proud of? And then what's next? Because I don't feel
What
like
am
you're
I-
done. I feel like you keep
Still
on jumping and
jumping,
keep
yeah.
going.
Yeah. Wow. What am I most proud of? Oh, most proud of my children.
No.
That they have also made their way in this business. I have a daughter who handles all the video production. I have a son that has an advertising agency. And so I also have another daughter in Los Angeles who's a makeup artist. And I'm just really proud of that they've kind of found their niche in this business. And I never really kind of pushed them, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. They just kind of just watched. and found their own way in this business. So I'm very proud.
And it's a
of
tough
them.
business, but they have you to
Yeah.
lean on too to
Yeah.
help navigate
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
It's really
That's
cool you
tricky.
gave them that exposure too.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yeah, absolutely. But the voiceover industry has been very good to me. I've had an opportunity to be voice of many commercials. And I have to tell you guys this now. So now I've done commercials for practically every major artist and tours. But one local commercial that seems to get more attention than anything
What is it?
is me doing Mr. Allen's for 10 years, 29
Oh,
to 2
wow.
for 50. I don't know if you guys remember the Mr. Allen's commercials.
No.
Do it real
You
quick.
know,
Do it real quick,
29 to
'cause
2
we got-
for
we got
50.
90
Pele, 29 to 2 for 50.
Oh, that's you?
That's me.
Oh, okay.
That was me.
That was you, but still. Okay, so we are just about out of time.
Yeah.
Tell everyone where they can get the book.
The book is available on GeraldMcBride.com. That's spelled with a G. GeraldMcBride.com.
GeraldMcBride.com.
And real quick, what's next?
Yeah, we didn't get to the next.
What's next? I really want to make a movie. I've started working on a screenplay for the book, God and the DJ.
Oh,
so you'll be able
okay.
to see on the screen some of these outrageous stories.
And I think it would come from a really cool perspective, from a Detroit perspective.
Yes.
And kind of weaving in the culture.
Absolutely.
Very
Absolutely.
good. Very good.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you so much. How can people follow you on social media, real quick?
Oh, I'm Gerald McBride, and on Instagram we have Gerald McBride, and of course my website GeraldMcBride.com.
All right, get to his IG so you can see who the next battle is going to be.
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen,
yeah,
God
yeah.
and the DJ,
Yeah,
more
right.
juicy
this week
stories.
we're doing Anita Baker against Sade. Yeah.
Anita Baker, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I'll
That
tell
is
you
gonna
who
be
I think is going to win in just a second.
Okay.
Everyone, thank you so much for hanging out with us for Live in the D. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
joining
much for
us.
having me.
We will see you back at 11 a.m. for Live in the D. We'll see you back here next Tuesday. Have a great
good
day,
one.
everyone.
Awesome.